Asiamnasiea, Anthemary Point, Tenitsanach Musquem. Iati Kikait. Ichla Sequexen. Ichla Sasnam. Amid Sepquatquilum. In the language of my ancestors, I let you know, my name is Mary Point. I'm from Musquem. I'm so pleased to be standing here in an area that we once called Kikait Nation, which when the government came and started to change all of our place names, one of the names they gave to this place was Musquem Indian Reserve Number 1. And then when they decided they needed to have a capital city, they changed it and said, nope, you guys need to get out of here. No money exchanged hands, our rights were eroded. And so instead, long story short, it became the city of New Westminster and the capital of what is now known as British Columbia. Across the way was a major port city for Musquem called Sequexen. It's a place that's a huge archaeological resource. Many of our ancestors' belongings, whole houses in the ground with the changing landforms of the shores here. Also a place where you can get great crab apples if you decide to go there. And down the way, just towards the end of Marine Drive, near the Arthur Lang Bridge, is our Musquem village of Sasnam, which also became known as a major port city as people moved around the area. Captain Vancouver and the Spanish noted that there were at least 30,000 people living in Sasnam when they first came here, and that's now known as Marpole. I love sharing bits of information as I fought traffic to get here from Musquem today to this specific site. I was mindful that Musquem actually used what is now known as Marine Drive as a major trail to come along the shore, along the land, to get to this village site. We introduced our trails to the visitors when they came so they could find their way. And one of our neighbors that is still next to what is now known as Musquem Reserve Number 2 was the McClearys. There's a big golf course now called McCleary, but they used to be a farmer, and they actually, on behalf of the government or as a contractor of the government, converted our trail into what is now known as Southwest Marine Drive, and that connected our two major port cities in a way that hadn't been done before. Many of our networks, our road networks here, are thanks to our community. Kingsway was another big trail, for example. Oak Street, Canby Street, Granville Street, all of those. Those were all major connecting trails for us that are now used by everyone And I like to think, as I'm standing here in this place of abundance and place of importance and place of connection, what a perfect spot for the canoe to come in today, carrying memories, stories, all the hard work of Nadine and her beautiful family. The place that they landed, which is now called Sapperton, was an area we called the Longshore. And I was looking at all the maps and place names, and she was texting me. I was at a family, had family commitments today, so I couldn't be here for that. But I wore today, in honor of this journey, this grandmother's journey, a red cape, because we've just come through Red Dress Day and Mother's Day and the Moose Hide campaign, and I just felt it was important to wear red. And coincidentally, this cape that I designed years ago has a canoe with a leader, a woman leader in the canoe. And I just thought, as I was wrapping myself in it today, this was meant to be, to celebrate Nadine and the family and all those who are celebrating their grandmothers in this time of learning. We wear red for the women who are lost and who are mistreated. And it's something that we wear so that our mothers, aunties, grandmothers, cousins, sisters, daughters who are on the other side, they can see red, we believe. So we like to think about that, and I can think of nothing better than to be standing here in this momentous time of learning that Nadine has encouraged so many to participate on this journey honoring our grandmothers. It's something I think about a lot. I was gifted the image of the journey of the grandmothers, that painting, the last time we gathered, and it sits in my office, and on the back is the picture of Nadine's family and a letter from them, and it really touches my heart. And I'm just so pleased to be a part of this journey, for all of us to remember who we are and where we come from, to remember and hold up our women. Our women are life givers, they're sacred, they're our knowledge keepers, they're our first teachers. This is who we honor. And I just really raise my hands to Nadine. It's enough talking from me, I think, because there's so many important words to be said today, but I'm really thinking of that as I stand here on our shores where the salmon and the sturgeon and the ullikens and others are in the river just behind me, and all the history that carries with them. All the history that rivers have seen as they've carved out the land and carried others on their journey. This place of connection, this new Westminster, this place that we stand in, this museum space that commemorates history and brings it to light for others to learn and share. So with that, I just want to say to you, my sister Nadine, I raise my hands for you and for all your good work, and I can't wait to see what comes next. I know you need another project, Next Steps, so hands raised. And the reason why we raise our hands, who can tell me? I feel lifted up to be standing here with you, and I want to lift you up in return. Haichkasiam.
Hi everyone, my name is Michelle Taylor. I'm the curator for the City of New Westminster, and I was told by Nadine this morning that I was speaking, so I am so pleased to be here. Just letting everybody know that we do acknowledge we are on the unceded and unsurrendered land of the Halkmalam-speaking peoples, and just as Mary was saying, we recognize that colonialism has disappeared and really made erase the narratives and the histories of the peoples of this land. And, I worked for New Westminster for quite a long time, and left for a little bit, and started again in November of last year. And since November, since the day I started, I heard of this lady called Nadine. And she was this mythical person who was going to have this amazing exhibition. What this exhibition was about, I didn't really know, but it was going to be great. And it was always set for May 24th because, as Ronnie told us at Sapperton Landing this morning, May 24th is a very important day, and he's going to talk later, so I'm not going to steal his thunder. But May 24th is here, and we are just so honored to be here and to help Nadine realize her vision. And Nadine really is visionary. That is a word that perfectly describes her, because she is really helping us realize our ability to look and question at what we have in our museum, because the stories of our museum are supposed to be telling the stories of our lands and the people who live on this land and who have lived on this land and continue to live here, not just one little snapshot in time. And so we are so happy to be able to question, to consider, to celebrate and honor our grandmothers and the people who came before us. And to join together today to honor and celebrate all of the amazing artists who are here today. So I'll speak a little bit later as a closing thank you, but I would like to introduce Nadine Spence, our visionary curator and amazing life giver.
I was trying to avoid speaking today. It's actually been a beautiful day today. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, the people, Stephen Litton, Savannah, people that have welcomed me into their community, the artists for the things I've asked from you. It's not easy to speak about the things that we've went through as Indigenous people, the things we've lost, but also the things that are great. This journey is more than just about the arts. It's about the spirit, it's about the heart, it's about our connection to the lands. It's about the connections to our grandmothers, our mothers, our sisters, the young girls, the history. I feel really good in the fact that I know that New Westminster is making the steps to find a way to probably make some wrongs right. I don't know if this is possible, but to me, this feels good. In my lifetime, I haven't seen that. So it's good to know that there's some steps being made. When you think about the journey we're on, it's not based on commercial art. What's being brought toward you is a lot of people that have been telling their personal stories of their connection to the land and their families. It's not easy. At the same time that we do these art pieces, we grieve, we celebrate, we strengthen ourselves up again to stand out for what we all want to save, our community, our families, the lands. So as you go through and check out the artwork, take a moment and understand the people that are sharing their stories with you. It's a huge gift. That what they've done, what comes out of their hands and their heart and their spirit is a lot. They don't share that with you because it's easy. They share that with you because they know if you can feel it and sense it, you know that what happened to Indigenous people and what's continuing to happen in oppression or genocide throughout the world has to stop. That we're at the point of changing the things that we need to change. And it's not going to be easy with how we move forward. I'm so honored by the people that I pulled up, not just the artists and everything I've learned. The artwork I do is not my artwork. A lot of it has to do with the stories that people tell me about the nations that I'm in. The artwork that you're going to see is a reflection of the journey I'm on, and I'm on it myself, and I'm healing every day, and I'm picking myself up. I don't want to try to fit into a museum. I'm Indigenous from these areas. I'm Indigenous from here. No Indigenous person should be trying to fit into a place that is their home. We need to think about that. I've had great experiences with people that wanted to be a part of this, and that just made me feel so good that I knew in their heart that weren't Indigenous, that just wanted to hold the chest, that wanted to be a part of it, and it felt so good. Then I've had other people that I realized that have become so detached from themselves and their own heart or in their own spirit that it was more of a routine, of a plan, of an idea that they didn't even realize. They didn't even think about how it was affecting the people around there, to be like this, to be like that, and how we need to pull away from those ideas of order. I stand in front of you as a human being, as a person that will continue to grow and always grow. And feeling so beautiful to have beautiful people like my niece Autumn, and knowing that I'm here to support people that are there to protect the environment, to protect children, women, and family. And it ain't gonna be easy, because it starts with us. I'm not here to save anyone. I'm asking you to take that time when you join us to reflect on what you're doing could contribute to your community and the people in the nations that you live. Musquem, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, this city. These are the homes of so many people. You should be the ones to belong. How do you belong to their nation? I come here and my protocol is to the women of this nation. Not to the mayors, not to the politicians, to the women, to the children first. That's the step that you make. And take that time to build relationships is the most important, because we are human, number one. So yes, I'm tired, but I'm so happy. I'm so grateful for everyone that as we move along and they step in, that they understand what this actually means beyond the stories, beyond the vision, beyond that. It's about everyone becoming human and caring, and everyone taking that for themselves, to becoming human again and caring. I didn't really cry this time. The artist I have here is incredible artist. Ronnie Dean Harris, Dina Pisha, Carolynn Victor, Stephen Litton, Caroline Litton, Autumn Wackham, Delilah Wackham, Denny Spence. Oh man, over 16 different artists. They all have a different story, and they're really powerful. I want to thank you as artists for believing in me, for knowing that when you talk to someone that's Indigenous that's doing something like this and they're independent on their own, no, it's more than likely they're doing it on their own. We're 4% of the population, and even if we have a family to help, we're doing a lot on our own. It's okay to help, but not to take over. Give us that space and place. So I'd like to call Ronnie Dean Harris up to speak. Totally adore him. I could spend hours on the phone with him, and I can't blame him for not having my artwork done. Run, Ronnie.
Hi everyone, my name is Ronnie Dean Harris. Ancestors know me as Malethuk. I just live up the road here in Sapperton. I remember earlier, a couple days ago, I was like, there's no way you're gonna catch me carrying this box from Sapperton down to downtown New West's Fast forward to this afternoon, and I was packing his box down through the streets. I keep preaching this gospel about May 24th here in New Westminster. Ever since I moved here, I've been trying to understand this date. May 24th, 1964 was the date of Queen Victoria's birthday. But it was a different birthday here in New Westminster where Governor Seymour had invited the Native people to come here to listen to the words of the great Queen. And so from Governor Seymour's notes himself, he said 3,000 to 4,000 canoes had gathered out here in the waters of Sapperton to come and listen to these words. For me, what's important when we talk about, this journey of this box, me going, I don't want to carry a box across town. Our ancestors, they made it and had it upon themselves and in their hearts to travel here from as far as they came. Many people are delegations, the era of delegations that begun in 1864, this gathering, it happened every year until 1870 when they're like, oh, we don't want to go to this anymore. Nothing's happening. They're just giving us buttons and blankets. Up until the point where we couldn't gather anymore because of the potlatch ban. And so our ancestors had it in their hearts to travel by horse or canoe or... It's hard. It was hard packing this across town. I don't know, it was hard for these people to canoe this over from Coquitlam over there. But the journeys that our ancestors or people before us, this work we do, we're not the first to do it. These rites, this title, this culture, these stories, these things pass through blood, pass through memory, pass through spirit. All those things we're not the first to do it. And this is not the first journey here of a chest of this manner, of our people coming to New Westminster to make their issues known. You can go through 16 to 20 different petitions and letters of leaders who came together to petition for our rights, who came right here. But then you also come to the end of many of our leaders who also were hung in the courthouses here. We talked about that as we came here today. So when I got asked to be a part of this project, honoring our grandmothers, yeah, of course. I'm a mama's boy. First off, I was raised by my grandma. So all the things I talk to you about here, those are stories she started me on. It was her who made me sit down and listen. All the other kids got to run around. I had to sit and listen. That's what I say anyway. But it was my grandma who, when she passed away, that was what was left. It felt like there's just this bentwood box of pictures and postcards and letters, pieces of paper with ancestral names, these activators of story, things that activated memory of me sitting there and listening. And that's kind of where I picked up running with my bundle, with her bundle, to organize it so that when my son picks it up and starts digging through it and finding what's in there, trauma, sadness, stories, but also cosmology, creation, connection to land, he'll be able to interpret that in a better way than I did, trying to figure it out, going, oh, that's yours. Hey, this is yours. This doesn't need to be in there. So that's what we're doing now. Is we're all like looking at our collective bundle and opening it up and going, oh, this is our story together here. You all have a story that's followed you here. It's a thread that now weaves us together in this place, in this time, in this place. It'll be different somewhere else. But our sister Nadine had it in her mind to bring this work together, to put these messages together, to bring these stories together, to totemize it. That's what our ancestors did. We come together, come to understanding, sing it, paint it, weave it, carve it, paint it on the wall, weave it on a shirt, carve it into a spoon, eat from that understanding. Because we didn't have writing. We wrote our stories in what we had. We encoded our stories into the mountains and into the formations here so that they would survive the floods and survive the fires, smallpox 1, smallpox 2, residential schools, and all the other things that have come to try to erase this ember that's been burning, that's been passed down through our grandmothers. That ember, that flame from antiquity, our connection to old, that comes through grandmas for us. For us, we come from matrilineal society, so you are what your grandma is. You are what your grandma says you are. You don't have to go find yourself. You already know your grandma told you. So I come here telling you what I know. It's just what my grandma told me to say. So I'm honored to see some grandmas here. Hello, OCM. The box that I put in here, I wanted to tell a story of my grandmas. I come from a set of, my dad was, wait, how does that go then? I was named after my uncle, who was named after his uncle. He's named after, right? And so my uncle Donnie and who I was named after, Ronnie, they were twins. And they're named after Donnie and Ronnie, and they're twins. But in both those instances, in those twins, Ronnie died. They died young. I wasn't born a twin, but I was born a Gemini. I was born May 31st. So that connection to twins in our family, it goes back a long ways. There's twins in the family a long ways back, but where I come from up there in Yale, Spuzum, the twins means black bears. And so there's a real connection to black bears for my grandmas. Her cubs, right? She called her cubs. My uncles were her cubs. 2019, I was staying in Lytton, of all places, working on a storytelling project up there, and I'd come back down the river to do a ceremony. And I was going back up, and I came across a dead bear on the side of the road. And I could see a bag of tobacco burning in the back of my car, so I doubled back to go put some tobacco down for all my bear relatives, I guess. I didn't know what I was doing at the time. I just was going to go make an offering. And so when I showed up there was some people there freaking out. And there was a bear cub in the tree. And there was another bear cub running around. And so those people left, and I was like, well, shoot, I guess I'll just stay here and try to help these cubs, because there's a dead bear mom there and some bear cubs. And that'll be my deed for the day. I'll just call somebody, they'll come. It'll be fine. And then no one ever came. And then it came 9 o'clock, blah, blah, blah. It's getting dark. Had a car full of beef jerky out in the bush. So I left. And we ended up catching the bear. I met up with some people. The bear mom was hit by a truck, but I guess the bear cub that was tied to the tree was tied there from like a big piece of a tire that had burst. So it was like wrapped around its fur. I imagine that's why the bear cub and the bear mom were there, because the bear cub was stuck in the tree. So I'd cut the bear cub out of the tree, and I tried to revive it, and it came back alive and ran down the mountain, and I didn't chase it because it's the bush. But my aunties were very adamant about that connection to the bears when that happened. Like, I held a bear in my hands. It's pretty amazing and frightening. In my mind, I was like, okay, here's what I'll do. I'll grab the bear cub, and I'll throw it in the back of the car, and then I'll take it to the motel in Lytton, and I'll put it in the bathroom with my 4-month-old baby there, and I have these bear cubs. First off, they're cute, they're cuddly looking, but they're not what they seem. They're wild animals, and when we caught this bear cub in the cage, and I had to help carry the cage up the hill, it was like the Tasmanian devil in there. It was like, blah, 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 like a wild animal. The only reason I was close to it was because it was victim to our intrusion in their habitat. Our industry, our trash had hung itself. So that bear died after that. The cub died, didn't make it. And it was kind of, for me, it was like this like wave of grief that kind of happened because I kind of let my guard down. Like, I saved the cub, let's go back to work. And so with that came a song and kind of this understanding and this real connection to bears and cubs and twins and to my grandmas who lost twins. And so it's kind of a story that's still growing. I don't know what's going to go in the box. I don't know where the box is going to go. You know, when we talk about culture and commodities, you know what I mean, and where capitalism meets, and we're having an interesting conversation about that right now. When I was making it, I was like, I don't know who I would sell this to. It's a personal story. I don't know where this would go. It's a personal story. So it feels weird being here, to be quite honest, talking about this box. But that's the thing. This is the gathering, right? And so you've been asked to witness what's here and what Sister Nadine has had in her mind to bring this work together. So I'm happy to be a part of it. The work is amazing. The new boxes are super amazing as well. And I know there's more stuff to talk about, but I think I'm done for now. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh, you're very tall. Thank you so much, Ronnie. Next up is Vanessa. Is she here? Vanessa? Oh, she's coming up the stairs. Well, I will take this opportunity to honor a grandma who is very special to me, and it's my mom. She's here, and she is with my children today, and she is amazing. So a little shout out to her while Vanessa gets set up here.
Not very good at public speaking. I was just downstairs waiting for my nephew and his mom because, he's hopefully, I don't know if he's going to be one of the next artists or not. Give me one moment. Woo, those are long stairs. We carried the chest up there, and I had to carry myself up there a second time. Give me a moment. All right. I'm Vanessa. I'm one of the artists, the chest artists that are in the display there. I'm actually originally from Hoyston. Ooh, one moment. I'm from Hoyston, which is in the Statliam territory, and I don't have a traditional name because unfortunately those were lost when my grandpa went to residential school, so I kind of wear this shirt here, not just for me and my generation. Does anybody have any water? Right here. Thank you. I'm like trying to talk and I'm just out of breath. Can you guys hear me at all? Like, okay?
You push it down, just go a little closer to the mic.
All right. Yeah, can you guys hear me okay? All right, okay, let's try this again. So my name is Vanessa Serroul. I'm one of the artists, for Where the Waters Meet, Downstream Where the Waters Meet. I'm originally from Hoyston in the Statliam territory. You probably know it as Bridge River Indian Band. It's where the Bridge River meets the Fraser River. And anybody who knows that area knows that where the Fraser River and the Bridge River meet, that's where the dry fish racks, where people do the wind-dried fish. So that's in my territory there. I moved to Musquem like 20 plus years ago. My son, he's a Musquem member, so I wear this shirt for him too. It says Musquem First Nation. One of the artists that made this, his name is Carlos Julian. Yeah, so, whew. But my son, he's like I guess he'd be fifth generational trauma for residential school, because my grandfather and his father both went to residential school, lost their kind of culture. They, growing up, we weren't allowed to speak our language. We weren't allowed to dance. We weren't allowed to sing. We weren't allowed to take language classes. So now as an adult, I'm like 42, and I have to learn all those things on my own. Because growing up, I asked if I could take Statlium in high school, but my mom's like, no, you got to take French. So I'm like, okay, I had to take French for like so many years, and I have a language in my head that I don't want to know. So trying to learn Statlium and the dialect of the Mathqui people, which is Halkomelem. So I should have started with Aswale, which means good day in Halkomelem. And I don't even know how to say hello in Statlium, and that's the sad thing, is that I could have like introduced myself into different languages, because that's what I'm learning, but I feel like I would butcher both languages, because I already butcher the English language. I don't want to butcher more languages, you know. I'm sorry guys, I'm still like out of breath here. But thank you. The last thing I wanted to do was stand up here being all like this, trying to run up the stairs. But traffic is so bad around here, and it's gotten worse and worse every year, that my nephew and his mom, who are traveling from North Van, I think they left probably over an hour ago, and they're still trying to make their way here. So they're half hour late, and it's not their fault though. It's just, you know, like we've been talking about, you know, all the city life, right? We gotta like adapt. We had to adapt for hundreds of years to this new way of living and stuff. And I'm part white, so I have both sides. Like, I have light skin, but I grew up on the res. So the very first thing, when I walked onto my res, I was 11 years old when we moved, and somebody opened their window and they're like, "Hey, white boys!" And I was scared. But then I started, like, you know, growing up, and all of a sudden I was babysitting all these kids that are calling me white boy, and but it was finally when I got to learn my culture, when I finally got to go to powwows and learn the language and learn different things, and I had to learn from other people, not my own family. So it was a little bit difficult, because then when I moved to Mathqui, you know, I didn't know a lot of things. I didn't know any of the traditions. So then I had to learn a whole new culture. And it wasn't even like that different. So Mathqui and Hoyston, they're different in a sense because of the, you know, climate and stuff like that. But it's not really any different, because we still fish on the same river. We're still fishing for the same fish, right? Like, I grew up on the Fraser River, so like I lived in Hoyston, was born in Lillooet, and then I moved to Mathqui, and I've lived there for 20 plus years, and we still fish the same way. We know set nets and dip nets and drifting. Well, we don't really drift up in Lillooet because the river's too narrow, but wind-drive fish is only really done up there up until Yale, until it starts getting too humid. But yeah, just one of the things, as an artist, I really want to try to, you know, raise awareness on the different thing, like conservation, on different like issues, like our salmon. So raising awareness on the conservation of that, and also being able to get our fishing rights back. Because I'll go walking down the Fraser River, and I see all these boats, and they have fishing rods. There's like 2 people and 5 fishing rods, and there's our people who are trying to struggle just to get a couple hours on the water. And we can't even fish for as much fish as we used to be able to fish. Like back when I was at home, we used to like where the waters actually meet, which is really, really pretty cool that I'm part of this, like this part of the honoring our grandmother's healing journey, where the waters meet, because I actually like was born where the waters meet and where the waters mix. So yeah, and just when I was younger, we used to look at our river, and it was just black with like fish all the way to the mouth of the Fraser and all the way back, you know, just like, it was just like nothing but fish. You could walk on top of the fish. And now there's barely anything there. People can't fish anymore because there's like so many restrictions, and it's really difficult because it's tough. I used to work for Lower Fraser Fisheries Alliance, sitting in the meetings and listening to people just like, you know, really heartbroken that they can't get out and fish, because it's like, it's our way of living. It's our traditional ways of, like, it's our traditional food. It's been like time immemorial. We've been fishermen, right? And then people coming in and just taking that away from us. So yeah, this has been kind of difficult. Like, this has been a healing journey, because it's actually bringing up things that I never really thought about before. So like thinking about all the, like while I was doing my chest, one of the main aspects of it is the fish cycle. So when you go take a look at my chest in the exhibit there, you'll see two different, it's actually the same image, but it's kind of reversed in colors. So I did the negative, and it's supposed to represent the salmon cycle, you know, going to the ocean and then coming back up to spawn and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just, my chest kind of represents all of that kind of stuff, all of the lands, like untouched lands before, you know, like overdevelopment and all that kind of stuff. So when you take a look at the chest, it's just gonna, your eyes will flow around it and stuff, and you'll kind of see, you know, mountains, little animals. Like I'm the bear, I'm from the Bear Clan, that's Hoiston. And my son, his name is Sid, he's from the Beaver Clan, which is Mathaqui. I don't know the story. I can't tell the origin story for the Mathaqui people because it's not my story to tell, and I don't know the origin story for my own people, the Hoiston people. But you know, it's there, it's out there. But yeah, not sure what else more to say. But if anybody has any questions, yeah, that's well, that's thank you and Statlium, I guess. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. I'm sorry I forced you to run up the stairs. Up next is Carolynn Victor. Hopefully she is here, not running upstairs. Yay, she's here.
Tala. Tala Quasmukalip. High chap to what hui lay lamit, tlachlout. You will to what chat Tala. High chap to what tisit lamit. New West. I don't know the name of this place. Say it again. Can you say it one more time? Schwameth. Schwameth. E.T. Tamokta Schwameth. This is a really special event, and I'm really grateful to Nadine for the careful and thoughtful steps along the way that led to this. I think of how closely related healing and art are often. And anybody who sat down to draw or paint anything and really cleared their mind gets that. You empty your mind and things start coming and going. And sometimes I'll set aside what I'm doing, finish my chores so that I can focus on my art and my craft, in hopes that all the clutter in my mind will leave. But some of that clutter's got really deep roots, and those things that are rooted there, in order to move them, sometimes you have to create things that help them move. This piece that I put in the show, wherever that is, I just got here and missed the location. Next door, over there, a couple doors down. The piece that I put in the show did bring healing, and it was a really cool experience because I had a plan. And so in the late 90s, there was the Native youth movement came to Chiam. Alta Humantaladli to Chiam Qualstat. My name is Carolynn. My ancestral name is Humantalad. I am from Chiam. Sorry. So in the late 90s, the community stood up with the support of the grandmothers and the Native youth movement in order to reaffirm our fishing rights. And the grandmothers were pivotal. They cooked, and they said yes or no, and the people moved. And for years, there was fatigues in the community, so long that people started calling camouflage chiamouflage. And we still do, like how many decades later still call fatigues chiamouflage, because they had become such a part of what we were doing and the work we were doing there that it carried on, and people still really wear fatigues all the time in the community. And so growing up and witnessing that, and the strength of aunties and grandmothers and people from far and wide coming and supporting the fight at that time, it became a part of who I am. And I thought, wow, this box should be covered in camouflage that has the subtle shapes of salmon and warriors, and it looks like camouflage. And so I started drawing it on there. And then a snowstorm came, and my box was sitting on the east side of the house, and the east wind is called Saret, and the east wind is something fierce where we live. It chilled that whole side of the house, and the box like cracked like lightning in the house. And I was really thinking, well, maybe I should sit back and consider my concept again. Lightning's a really powerful thing, and it sounded like lightning, and the east wind is really powerful, and cedar and wood is, it's got spirit in it, and we can't always force things, so I waited. And we have a song in Chiam and a Shwohuyam, a story that reminds us of the mountain goat people, and how when the lightning strikes the top of the mountain, the mountain opens, and the goat people inside the mountain take off their robes, and they feast and they dance. And we still sing that song, and the kids are learning that dance. And I thought, wow, maybe that's where I'll find my flow with this box. And so I started to do some shapes that would allude to lightning, and then I started to design a goat person, and then a woolly dog came, and then the mountains on the top, and I kept seeing this persistent crack on the top of the box, and I'm frantically messaging Nadine. Nadine, my box is broken, I feel so bad. But it was the wind that did it. And so she assured me it was natural enough, that it wasn't a problem, and we'd figure it out. And maybe it would be part of the experience. And it sure did. It just steered the whole direction of the box. And I've got a couple of bags of mountain goat wool in my house, and it speaks. Mountain goat wool is something to behold. It just speaks. I was sleeping, and then the mountain goat wool showed itself inside the box. And then all the little tools are inside the box. And I was like, oh, putting the claims on my box. So I just woke up and I put all those things inside the box. And then the designs really started to show up, and that snowstorm allowed me the time to just flow. Lots of white, because of how white reflects glaciers and purity, and the pure water that flows from the glacier at the tops of our mountains has a particular scent, and the salmon pick up that scent and they find their way home. And so there's certainly salmon on the box, because that's an important part of who we are in Chiam as well. So there's quite a bit of history there about the first goat people. I haven't really given you guys a linear sense of what's going on with the box, but I'm happy to share that at another time. Or it could be written or something. It's probably written it's probably written, right, Nadine? Yeah. The description of the box is written there. I didn't want to just give you the literal description of the box. But to thank Nadine one more time for coming to Chiam and starting that canoe journey in Chiam, it was really special. We had terrible weather. It was just cold, cold, cold and rainy. But the people showed up, and we ate dried fish soup and really good fry bread, and we just sat and visited, and then we talked about our boxes and sang some songs, and then a week later we escorted the box into a big boat, as it was too rough to send down on a canoe. But I started to see that journey come together place by place. You know, there's energetic ties there. There's a healing walk there. And wow, so much support and healing along the way. And so I really am happy to have some space to share a little bit about goat people and grandmothers and salmon and things that are near and dear to my heart and our Chiam people. I would like to share a song before I go. Is there like a rattle or a drum available? Yeah? And I'd like to invite my auntie Thalathowit to come singing with me. Oh, nice. Oh, I'm good with the rattle. Thank you. So a brief description of the song. This is my auntie. Yeah, I'll come out front so we're not singing into the mic. Tiit Siwal is an expression that is a greeting and a gratitude. Siwal is a term that describes ancestors but also history. So Yaya is also a word in the song, and it means being friends and relatives. You may have heard the word Siyaya. Yaya is a root word of Siyaya, and it means being friends and relatives. Tiit Siwal, greeting our ancestors. For those who joined us today, and for those who might come during the exhibit, just a greeting and a thank you. Yasukwasai Telwalab.
All right, well, that is the end of our formal speeches. I do have a few people that we do want to thank. Want to thank all of the folks who helped to make this exhibition happen. Alan Blair, who's not here tonight, he is our registrar. He helped drive out to Chilliwack and Mission and Abbotsford to get all of the artwork. Joe, who built all of the plinths inside the gallery that you'll see tonight. Quinn, who helped, I think, bring the exhibition in when Nadine first approached her. Rebecca, who organized tonight and the landing at Sapperton Landing Park and organized the procession and is organizing all of the programming going along with this exhibition over the next few months. Maria, who did all of our graphic design, and big thanks to Rob McCullough, who is the manager of Museums and Heritage Services, who has really been a big support for this exhibition and stayed with me installing until midnight. So many thanks to him, and of course to Nadine, who none of this would have happened without her. And do you have one more? Okay. Oh, and a quick thank you, of course, to everybody who has come out tonight to help us celebrate these amazing artists and help us re-envision how we can tell stories in our city.
My sister would like us to just take a few moments to consider the last 160 years, this journey, not just the journey that she's been on, gathering families to honor our grandmothers over these last few years, but the journey that we've all been on as people of the land, the many names that we have for these places and spaces and how they've all been renamed, but we know this place, this whole place called Lower Mainland, as Tashwamist, our home, a place of gathering, of celebration, of ceremony, of habitation, of special hunting sites and secret berry picking spots, but a place where we knew it was safe to be who we are, and that our women are sacred, and that we honor them in our matrilineal society. And with that, I'm not totally sure of the direction we're going, but we're going that way. So I'm going to sing an honor song just to close this part of the day together. And I was struck by how many people mentioned the weather. It has, every time we've gathered for this, it has been a rainy, stormy day. And right from the very first time we met in Oppenheimer Park, it was just bucketing, and we recently lost a matriarch in our community, and even the day she left this past week, it was storms and the sky just opened. And I just want to say I take comfort when I see the rain coming down, because I think we're refreshing and we're honoring, and those are the tears of all of those who came before us, but we're gathering strength from that. So we'll begin our journey out to the left here.